Over the years, I have studied relationships on all sorts of different levels, mostly seeking support when I found myself floundering within a relationship or when one ended in confusion or heartache. Most recently, 2 years ago, I found myself with a bruised heart and a battered spirit, for the first time in my memory, feeling a sense of despair. A message came to me that the antidote for despair is action. I would have thought it to be hope, but as they say, hope without action will never amount to much. In this moment of my life when I was feeling despair, I thankfully came across a free online class that was focusing on the inner critic and how we often default to this shadow aspect of ourselves when we are already having a hard time. Just what we need, right? Feeling down, and then we beat ourselves up even more for all the things we could have done differently, all the things we knew we should have done and didn't, all the signs that said to go a different route, all the red flags that we ignored because we were following our impulse of human connection, our desire to be in relation intimately with another human. We criticize ourselves for all the things we could have done better as we feed this shadow aspect of ourselves that, while maybe was at some point helpful, generally is no longer serving us in a good way. This class, as they often do, led me to a 3-month group study of what it means to integrate our shadows. And to this day, 2 years later, I still regularly connect with some of the folks from that course and have continued my studies in emotional and relational alchemy. Not only did these studies in shadow integration help me through a very tough time in my own life, they also led me to some, from a distance, intimate connections that continue to foster growth and inner expansion. I believe we all need pockets of cheerleaders around us, cheering us on as we do our best to dance through this life. When we are able to connect with others who are having a shared or similar experience, we can come deeper into our understanding of what it means to live in a world that thrives on reciprocity. We share and we receive all in one breath. We extend and we are offered a hand reaching back to us, metaphorically or otherwise. When we say yes to connections, we get to work that muscle of knowing ourselves in relation to other, which I feel is a huge part of the equation of what it means to be human. Other could be another human, an animal, a collaborative group, a tree, a river, a patch of earth that we stand upon. When we slow down enough to recognize it, we begin to see how we are constantly in relation to the world around us. How we prioritize and fuel those reciprocal relations is completely up to us. I know we can get caught in a survival struggle. I tend to see this colonial, patriarchal, capitalistic society as a loop system that does its best to keep each human and the collective of humanity in struggle and survival mode. We are taught to believe that once we have one thing, we must work towards the next. We are delivered this notion that everything in our lives must be on an elevator type trajectory, that we must always be seeking the next external achievement. We have been hardwired in our genetics, conditioned in our mental states to keep seeking more. Of course, there are pockets of society that don't adhere to this notion. The anti-establishment types, the fringe, the rebels for a cause against capitalism and all it entails. I don't want to be a content creator, an influencer, or someone who abides by a schedule made by another human. I don't want relationships that are contractual or transactional or full of rules I never agreed to. I want to flow with the phases of the moon, creating from source. I want to inspire and be inspired and contribute to the flow of abundance and magic, to be in the mystery and to be in the know. I don't want my life to be about selling things. I don't want my life to revolve around how much money I can make in a day. I don't want my thoughts to be consumed by consumerism itself. I want the freedom to live in accordance with natural law. I want to know I have a home regardless of whether I have a paycheck or not. I want to focus on thriving. None of this ridiculous survival BS. At least none of this survival beyond what it actually means to survive, because I am quite certain we could all easily thrive on this planet if there were no elitism, or rich or poor. I will carry water and chop wood and plant seeds and feed the bees. I will write poetry and sing and dance and run with the coyotes. I will paint and weave and cook and read and write books. I will tend the fire and clean the hearth. I will surrender my soul to give birth to all the creativity that wants to be born. I want this to be the norm, not only for me, but also for whoever wants to live this way. And for those who want it to be different, I want whatever that is for them too. I want us to feel liberated collectively. I want us to be free in a world that is just and fair. I want justice and potentials reached because we nurture one another with great care. I want healing and wholeness and playfulness and joy. I want us each to be able to write our own story and have the nerve to star in it too.